quiet except on the weekends and the public holidays. Yeah, the market's not accessible, but at least you have the rest of the 5 days to capitalize and make yourself quite some huge lots of money there. ZAPU just made this a reality. There is no excuse as to why you're not owning government bonds and securities in such a time where ZAPU is here to make it a reality for any person, for any citizen, for any Ugandan out there. So there is an opportunity for you. Now ZAPU simply says, my money, my future, and also to South Africa says, do something new. Well, it's the Mother's Day tomorrow.
Yes.
Preparations, and there is quite lots of, movements, preparations, people are setting themselves up. Yeah. What?
Oh, of course, good morning Uganda, good morning East Africa and the entire globe. My name is Masika Tim and we are here to give you the business insights, what is transpiring in our business world. And of course, as we prepare for Mother's Day, which is slated for tomorrow, of course, I must say for the Christians out there that they are actually prepared. This is one of the biggest events, actually. I must say that gathers thousands and I don't know, is it millions?
They may not really
okay, thousands, a
huge number of people.
Sure if Uganda and of course the Uganda, East Africa, and
actually some people come from other countries like America, Europe, come and celebrate because the matters were actually very influential people when it comes to religion. They have an impact of religion. We are talking on a global perspective because. Yeah, so that's why you really get to see quite so many people coming in here from the different places. And the bigger picture here, we need to look at the business environment. Yeah, businesses have already set up. Yesterday, somebody was on ground and he told me, because I remember I went there on Tuesday, and that's how the situation was like there. And but surprisingly, yesterday, the person told me, you know what? The businesses are really blossoming as we speak. There are quite so many people. The numbers have increased. It wasn't even just yesterday. So I can imagine how the day is going to be like today.
Of course, and of course, remembering that programs are still coming in, and of course, more monies for the business people right there. And of course, you know, there is this holy water that
the holy water. I saw it from the Protestant side. I focus much more on the Protestant side, the Anglican side rather.
In both ways.
It must be from the Catholic side and
because
and
they're near.
Yeah, just a slight distance away from there. Yeah, but of course, developments all the way, renovations, right, making sure that they put all things together. Of course, people were already touring the matters, the areas, the museum, looking at the different aspects there. And on the Anglican side, new features are being put there. There is an arena project that they're constructing there, which was the president actually also donated some money on that. It was donated about 68 billion Ugandan shillings, and with that, they anticipate they're going to beautify the place to attract much more people. Because I saw the plan when it's finished. It's really very,
I don't think it shouldn't not only be Mother's Day. I think if it's beautified, it has to be one of the tourist attractions.
Of course, that's the overall aspect because some of the people come from this aspect from the religious aspect, but before you know it, they find many attractive things and they call their other friends like, hey, come here and see this. So in that way, attracting tourists. But of course, as a way to even boost that further, they are planning to construct hotels, 5-star hotels around, which can, in case people come, they can really have accommodation and all that. It's just one of the geared aspects, one of the aspects to gear up tourism.
I remember a certain story. One of the traders actually, she had a business actually. On Mother's Day, she said. She had things and they got done. She had to request, for more and more and more. People kept on buying, mostly food, where there are drinks, food. They have to be fully stocked. Like, fully stocked. She said she sold to her
to the clients, and
to have
Yeah.
maximum.
yeah, of course that was really a must. You have to make sure that you are stable as somebody that having something to offer on the market, because you're going to be overwhelmed by the market there. And you see, one other advantage, most especially the people that deal with food, they kind of hiking the prices to a certain amount of money, because either way, whether you like it or not, you're going to get hungry and you have no choice but to buy food where you're buying it from. So you find that they have that added advantage of adding some sort of the pricing.
And I must say, even the shoes, actually, given the fact that people come from far end areas, the
Some
shoes,
of them have to buy new shoes.
shoes get worn out.
Yeah, very
Imagine
true.
walking kilometers.
Yeah, you come all the way from those areas. It's absolutely true and absolutely
And
right.
the clearance, is that the clearance?
Yeah, that's on the Catholic side. The
There's
clearance.
some kind of
very,
organization.
very tight
And then
security.
people are going to spend nights today in there, because when you come by 6, people are going to be lined up.
Exactly. Actually, now imagine how security is looking in there. That was on Tuesday. So how much more today, or even how tomorrow it's going to be like? And actually, some roads are going to be blocked from now
Yes.
here. People will have to walk all the way from there towards there. No vehicles are going to be allowed to get there, because people are going to be many, and trying to control congestion and movement of people and all that. Well, that is it regarding the Mother's Day tomorrow. Of course, quite a very religious aspect for those of you that are religious fanatics and you really follow up. Much more details regarding religion, Catholics, Protestants. So the Mother's Day is on tomorrow. Well, that is it. And now let's get closer as we take a look at what's happening in the press. Well, now getting into the press review. Of course, we have the Daily Monitor and the New Vision. I'm going to be, of course, going through the Daily Monitor, and Masi Katsumi will be taking us through what's making headlines in the New Vision there. But of course, what's making headlines in the top page. Of course, we take a look at as 70 links Mohozi's rise to NRM witness, and of course, President San says San's activities show our resistance. That is, it says that it show our resistance movement within a resistance movement, and of course, due to the failings within the ruling party, where the young see hope in the four-star general, but he has cautioned them against the risk of causing unprincipled contradiction. Well, you'll be getting more details when you get yourself a copy. What does Seven have to say about this particular matter? What do we have?
Well, what we have here is President Museveni cites corruption in deployment, as one senior officer has been arrested, and of course Ugandan truck drivers detained in South Sudan forest for about 3 weeks now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very, very interesting right there. Of course, quite lots of
And of
news
course, Uganda registers an increase of youth unemployment. I mean, we still have a lot to do when it comes to employment. And of course, like we've been saying this over and over again, you don't
Uganda
have to...
registers increase in youth unemployment.
Yes, yes. Like I said, of course, you have to make sure you as a youth, what skill do you have to make sure that you are out of this unemployment phase,
And the
Get
president
a
has been
skill,
running
employ
quite lots
yourself,
of,
be self-employed. I mean, what is wrong with it? At the end of the day, we have to have food on our tables. So definitely, you have to think big. Okay, white-collar jobs are not usually the way to go. You can do something and have employees, actually.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right, now, of course, here we see that Uganda's economy grew by 5.3%. That's according to the UBS. Of course, the preliminary estimates of the gross domestic product released by the Ugandan Bureau of Statistics, of course, indicated that Uganda's economy grew by 5.3%. Of course, in the fiscal year 2022-2023, of course, you'll be finding out more of those details when you get yourself a copy of the New Vision. And of course, here we see 900 people stuck as government closes Bulambuli School. Wow, that is very devastating. Of course, in such time when people are reporting back
just 2
to
weeks.
schools.
One is it this week?
Of course, some schools started last week, others have officially opened up this week, depending on the school policy. But of course, it's never just a week's difference.
Okay, now the FAO to boost milk exports, the UN Food and Agriculture Organization is to work with the Dairy Development Authority to boost export of the Ugandan dairy products. The two parties will access new markets as part of the country's ongoing efforts to strengthen their dairy sector. That is it for the milk industry. Those that are into dairy, of course, they're yet to boost our milk exports. Like Kenya we have been, in an entanglement with Kenya, but we are hoping that our milk will have a market elsewhere. And they will be yearning to have some of our lovely dairy products right there.
All right, very interesting there. Now, here we take a look at 11 billion Ugandan shillings for Madi Okolo wax store. Of course, district leaders say some contractors lack adequate financial muscle or capacity, that is to handle projects. Well, you'll be getting more of that. Of course, we've had quite lots of issues when it comes to implementation when a project is allocated funds for the different particular aspects there. Well, let us see how this comes about. Yes, Marcy, what do we have there?
Now, on the National Council for Education, they say restore confidence in higher education courses. Now, this comes after the what has been transpiring the last 2 weeks about the expired courses, and of course, they are letting people know that they should be confident of the courses they started for. It was actually something that wasn't that big, just needed reviewing, and of course now they came up and said something about it. And of course, it says, let's stop playing with English words. Right there, whoever used that statement, it has been eating up a lot of people. So definitely, they have a solution for it.
Okay, now here, of course, there is into the job section, the Daily Monitor here, that what do new grads want from an employer? What are your expectations when you get a job out there? So that is something that you need to really take into. Of course, I know when you get done with university, you have there's lots of expectations about something, and you really anticipate that maybe when I move out there, things are going to move like this. You raise your expectations to a certain level of degree, but unfortunately, when you reach there, you get to realize that maybe life is a little bit different from what you had really anticipated from that. But anyway, the question here is, new graduates, you've just graduated. Remember, you've joined a bunch of people of there. Well, now that is it for the press review. Now let's cross over and take a look at what's happening in the traffic world. Of course, what we're observing there, that is Ntinda Koto route. Yes, Ntinda Koto route right there, as we're seeing quite a little bit, it's a huge line of vehicles in there. There are both residential areas and also areas where people go to do business. So some people have their business offices into those roads. So that explains what we're seeing, what we are seeing just about right now, a huge fleet of vehicles, and of course, majority of them heading towards town. And there is a road there which just laps straight. That is the Google bypass, and some probably heading towards areas such as Nakawa to go and execute business. I'm seeing quite a number of border people, so many private vehicles, actually not so many taxis are coming in from those areas. Quite a number of people there, of course, like I say, and of course a certain class of people stay in the area. That's also very key and vibrant to what we're seeing at that particular aspect. Yes, so if you're coming in from those areas and probably you're heading towards Kampala, you're coming to Kampala to execute business, well, actually, if you could connect from Tinda, you connect to Nakawa and actually still head to town, or you can use that route, connect to Kira Road, a link to Mulago, Kamocha, then one day before you know it, you're already in town. So it's really up to you. But according to the look of things here, the Wandagia route might be a little bit longer, according to that, because you're going to go through a series of traffic. Yes, we don't know what is it like for Nakawa there, but maybe it could be one of the other options. But according to the look of things, for any person, you coming in from Tinda, you're coming in from Kisasi, all those areas, and probably likely to link up to this route, seems to be a little bit very tricky there. But of course, if we look at the vehicles coming in from Kampala, connecting towards Ntinda and Bukoto, that is a free lane. Of course, as always, in most cases, the majority of the people are heading towards town. Very few people leave town coming to the suburbs, right? Yeah, so that explains why we see what we are seeing there today. Of course, seeing a number of vehicles, and some of those are coming from the route adjacent to the Lugogo bypass, linking to the different destinations. Some, of course, are shooting all the way straight to Kisasi. Some are even heading towards Kirach, Watule, and so many of those areas. And that is why we are observing that freeness, let me call that, the free aspect, which is really being involved as we are observing there. Yes, no, I've not yet seen a traffic officer to control the traffic, but of course, there is quite some sort of a discipline which is being observed by the different road users, all the way from the borders who are the most stubborn, coming all the way straight to the taxi drivers, any person that is driving a public vehicle. That is the Kira Road, definitely very free, very free. But of course, the reason why it's that way, some vehicles that are supposed to use it and head towards town are being held in jam on the Ntinda Bukoto route. But now we can take a look, they've just been set free. But those that are coming in from Kira Road, coming in from Kampala, linking straight to Ntinda Bukoto, it's quite a free lane for you there. You'll be able to reach in the required time as soon as possible. Now, if we switch our eyes, that is that route which has a set of borders. It's the route adjacent to the Lugogo bypass. It seems it's never actually, in most cases, it's never really that much congested, except on certain few days. There are of course exceptions when we are rolling out traffic here. So that is how it is like at the Ntinda, that is rather at the Kira Road junction, of course next to the police station, an area which is, of course, when the police station is closer, we really anticipate that there should be maximum obedience to the traffic rules, lest you get fined. Yes, lest you get fined. So now that's the route adjacent to the Lugogo bypass. Yes, you can see that it's really free. It's not really as congested. Of course, just a few intervals of being held in jam by the traffic lights in 3 to 5 minutes being held there, and but 3 to 5 is not really a long time. You can be patient. Now, vehicles coming in from Ntinda Bukoto, that is the Lugogo bypass. Yes, some actually, you can connect all the way there, connect to Lugogo, and before you know it, they are into the city center. Now, that is for those that are heading towards areas like Bugolobi. Yeah, that's a good route for you. You're coming in from Ntinda Bukoto, you can use the Lugogo bypass. You can link up very well. Even Nakawa could be okay. You're heading to those areas like Luzira. That is also quite a friendly perspective there. So vehicles, that is the route adjacent to the Lugogo bypass, opposite the Lugogo bypass. You can see, of course, being held there. Of course, some are heading straight to Ntinda to execute business. Some are heading to Bukoto to do business. Yes. Of course, if you school children here, of course, as you know, it's the back to school week, and the children school activities have really resumed. So we anticipate to see quite a number of students crossing the roads, heading to the different schools. And actually, there is a school nearby that area to make matters interesting. Yes, exactly. School children, school students, pupils, or whatever, all crossing the roads to head that is towards schools and do. Of course, yes. Now that is it for the traffic atmosphere at the Ntinda, rather at the Kira Road junction. Of course, taking a look at the overall situation, the Ntinda Bukoto route is really very congested as compared to other routes. Well, it's 26 minutes past 7. You're still watching Smart Means Business, your daily kickstart. I'm Anju Bareje with Masika Time here as we give you the daily related business aspects. But of course, right now we're going to get into a short break, and when we return, we shall be taking a look at what's happening on the international scene and also, of course, the East African community discussing business matters. Good morning.